environmental, social, and governance as a strategic imperative for finance leaders. And for the same, I would like to introduce this speaker. Mr. Bharat Agrawal is a professional entrepreneur, a strategic and innovation financial leader with diverse experience in the metal, energy, and chemical industry working in India, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. Extensive global experience in finance and business controlling, strategy and transformation, treasury and taxation. Bharat is a purpose driven leader who believes in sustainable growth and a marathon runner who believes in consistency. Please welcome Mr. Bharat Agarwal, Finance Director South Asia at Diversey. Come on, everybody, let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Bharat Agarwal.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Hope we have everyone back from the lunch. How was the lunch? Good? No, doesn't look like. Organizers, they didn't like the lunch. So good feedback for them. But yeah, I think after lunch, it's important that we bring the energy back into the room. Before I get into the subject, I have few questions for you all. All of us have our mobiles. Yeah, let's get into two quick questions. Yeah, that will bring the energy back. You had your nice food, and yes, Please bring your phones with you. We coming out from the election fever, right? First, very easy question for all of you. Please take out your mobiles. Go to this site called menti.com and help me get the answer here. Very, very easy question. I'm sure all of us will get it right. We are around 40 people in the room, 40, 50. I should see all of you voting here. Only 3. Very simple, you have to go to menti.com, use this code and vote. Simple question. There is a trick here. Good. There is a diversity in the response too. More responses, we good? Good. So yeah, majority wins. All of us know the number of seats Lok Sabha or the House of People has. Yesterday we saw the results. Good, congratulations, all 22, 23 people. We move to the next question. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. How many SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, are established by the United Nations? Options are 5, 7, 12, and 17. Please make a guess. I'm sure the responses will not be as unanimous as we saw in the last slide, but let's see where we land. Some people are changing the responses, looking at the final bars here. Don't do that. When were SDGs introduced by the United Nations? Any guess? (2015). And 17 is the right answer. Most of you could guess it right. There are 17 SDGs given by United Nations. All of us coming from finance fraternity should be knowing this, because in one or other thing, we are supposed to work on many of these things. Okay, we get into the, no. Yep. Quiz, we had 2 quiz. Do we have mic here for the audience? I want to ask some question as well. Can somebody please help me? Yep. Let's start with the relevant question in the room. What is the role of CFO? Any bullets, any points that comes to your mind? Can somebody please help with the mic? Sorry. Compliances, very good. Any more thoughts? Let's get the energy going, guys. We had nice food, right? Let's make our day meaningful by contributing to the discussion. Yes, sir. Increasing shareholders' wealth, compliances, what more? Quick, all of us know. Sorry? True. Any more thoughts? Vimal. Sorry? To grow. True. Okay, all these things are true, completely true. But things are changing, right? All of us know the kind of place we are getting in. I'm sure whether you come from a listed organization or a private-owned company or a startup, you all must be hearing a lot of new things in your boardrooms, in your meeting rooms. Yeah, three key revolutions that taking place in our space. Start with digital revolution, right? We were talking here with someone. A lot of change happening, the way conventionally we used to do things versus what we are supposed to do now, right? We see a lot of change. COVID has created a whole lot of push. Digital revolution is changing the way businesses operate, the way finance function. Second major revolution is coming in the space of social. So when I say social, what do I mean? I mean the way we operated, right? There was a time where work from home was a crime. Then a time comes where work from home becomes a norm. And now again, companies are struggling back to get the people back to office. So social dynamics are changing. And the third major change is the green change. What is green? Here I come on my topic, which is ESG, right? So we're talking about environment, sustainability, and governance. Is sustainability or ESG a new thing for India? I'm sure not at all. We started talking about it a lot now, but it has been there always. You look back into our history, you will see us connecting with the nature either in form of earth, air, water, right? You open any book of Chanakya and you will hear about governance. So nothing of this is something which is new. But what is new is this term called a social CFO. So you now looking into aspects which you were not doing earlier, coming out from everything, yeah? That everything remains with us. Compliances, partnering, everything that we spoke about stays with us. But what gets added is our social responsibility. So I'm Bharat Agrawal. I come from Diversey. We are a chemical and machine manufacturer in the space of hygiene and cleaning. So we do chemical manufacturing, we do machines, and all of these are done for hygiene and cleaning. For example, the premises where we are sitting is being cleaned and maintained by our chemicals and machines. But while doing so, we play a role in terms of keeping the environment and sustainability aspects in mind. So without talking much about my company, I would like to draw your attention towards our role as a CFO in the new scheme of things. Only 2-3 slides, and I would like to make it an interactive one. Keep contributing. If you have any thoughts, if you see any disconnects, let's talk. The first thing, right, when I talk about sustainability, what is the most important thing is aligning our strategic aspects. Yeah, as an organization, you already have a short-term, mid-term, and a long-term goal in terms of where you want to reach. How do you club the strategic, how do you club the sustainability aspects into your company's strategy is going to be very, very important as a CFO for you to link with. There will be somebody who will come and say, look, this is what we need to change from tomorrow. But how does it talk with your financial projections that you have for 3 years down the line? That's going to be very important for us when I say the role of CFO in sustainability. 6 things. Second one is financial stewardship. I would say when it comes to exploring, talking about any proposals, on sustainability, of sustainability. What's most important is the financial modeling, right? We can change everything the way we want to change. Sales, marketing would come up with plenty of ideas on how things can look more green. But how does it translate into financials is something CFOs need to drive. Third is about reporting and compliances. It's important to know what is sustainability. It's important to jot down the KPIs. Equally important to report those KPIs and ensure the compliances. What's the biggest problem today? When I talk about accounting standard, I'm sure all of us know about accounting standards, Ind AS, IFRS, US GAAPs, and pretty much everything is in sync, right? If I talk about assets, all of us know the accounting standard that talks about asset. With a little variation here and there, PPE would be same wherever and whatever you talk about. But when it comes to sustainability, we don't have those uniformity in the reporting or the compliance standard. That's where CFOs, if you have multiple geographies under your domain, it's very important for you to be mindful of what European Union says versus what SEBI says. So that's an important role. Coming to stakeholder engagement, a number of stakeholders which want to see your sustainability efforts. I have a slide specifically on this, so I'll not take much of time here. Performance measurement, as I spoke about, we need to define the KPIs, we need to talk about our performance, and yeah, all of this falls very well under our responsibility. And the last thing is organizational culture. All of us have been into a fabric of looking at everything from a cost point of view, isn't it? Yeah, for us, payback, present value of any proposal is the only KPI. Have we ever looked at it from a social return point of view? I'm sure no. It's the time now that we bring this KPI also over there when you put payback, when you put present value, and when you put fancy IRR and all, put social return as an element over there too. Is your proposal taking a cost on environment, or is your proposal contributing to the sustainability? That is something I strongly believe a CFO can only do. Moving on, is it a hurdle race or it's a smooth journey? I would say it is certainly a hurdle race. Why is it so? Strategic challenges, it's not easy. It's easier said than done that align your strategy with the sustainability drive. It's not at all easy, right? Multiple stakeholders. There are stakeholders which want the short-term wealth creation. However, there are stakeholders which want the long-term wealth creation. How do you marry these two? That's going to define the success of yours when it comes to sustainability. Reporting challenges, I touched upon this topic in my slide before as well. Things are not easy when it comes to reporting. First of all, for example, if we talk about the global reporting initiatives, these are different. India doesn't mandate that. So how do you track the reporting challenges if you are a multinational in this space? Operational and technological challenges, right? What is the operational problem? If I talk about TDS, tax deducted at source, I'm sure all of us have systems, tools. They know if there is a particular transaction, TDS has to be this much, right? GST, when came, all of us knew how to put a GST on a goods or a service billing. But is your system smart enough to give you the data which talks about the carbon footprint emission when a transaction happens? The answer is no, right? We are very behind in terms of having those data in place. That's where my challenge is. Soon we're going to have the carbon footprint tracking, carbon footprint trading, and all those sort of things, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions. How would you kind of put all this together? That's where this is the biggest challenge, but at the same time, we have a big technology changes happening everywhere. Today, most of the fintech players, and I'm sure there will be many here in the room as well, all of us are investing our time in the fintech revolution, right? We're trying to bring the digital transformation. I would also suggest those fintech players sitting here to think about how you make a system which can give the sustainability or the carbon emission footprint to the organization. That's going to be the game-changing effort in the time to come. Cultural and organizational challenges, as I spoke about, whether it's an Indian-owned company or it's a foreign MNC, all of us used to have one lens when we look at the things. Time for us to bring those challenges, and it will start simply from the top. All of us know we need to change the tone at the top and then make sure it nicely cascade down through the organization. Last bit on the financial and risk management challenges. We know financial modeling, we know how do we put the things together. But when it comes to carbon emission, for example, if you're in India and you're still saving a lot of carbon emission from the environment, you don't have a number which you can put against it, right? And you cannot say that, look in my proposal, this is what I'm getting as the saving. So these challenges exist. There is a progress happening in this space. But yeah, this would remain as a challenge for all of us as a CFOs to look at. Sorry, any thoughts, any question on this bit? Otherwise, I'll move to the last slide and then we can have an open discussion on some of these things. Stakeholders, I touched upon this in my slide 1. Investors, SEBI mandated top 1,000 listed organizations to follow the standards and talk about the sustainability efforts, right? That's where your investors are now more looking at the organization, not only from the EPS that you give them on the short term, but also your initiatives on the sustainability. They don't want an organization to give a profit in the short term and then fall flat when it comes to the sustainability efforts or have a big penalty or a liability coming from any regulators. So that's where if you're a part of a listed organization, investors are something you need to be really mindful of. How do you engage well with them? Regulators, as I said, all the regulators, you talk about SEBI, RBI, MCA, right? All of them are putting initiatives, mandates. SEBI has mandated it. Some of them are encouraging the organizations. For example, RBI encourages organizations under them to talk about their sustainability efforts. It's just a matter of, I guess, few more months or year. You will surely find mandates coming your way where you have to talk about your sustainability efforts. Are we ready for that? I'm not sure all of us. We really need to work hard on it. Consumers, a big change in the consumer preferences taking place, right? People are looking at reduce, reuse, and recycle. And it's not, I'm sure if you all go back and talk with your children, even they would be very mindful of what they are using. So as an organization, it's very important for you to keep your consumer preferences in mind as well. Employees, I'm sure all of us come from a generation, but if you see the new generation, the latest generation, people are more inclined to see the purpose-driven organization than the profit-driven organization. I'm part of a community called One Young World Ambassadors. It's a community of 200 ambassadors from across the world, and I see people making their choices based on what the company do in terms of the environment and the purpose. So a big change happening there. If you want to retain a good talent, you really need to be green in your nature. And finally, society. Yeah, a lot of NGOs, communities, activists are talking about what a company is doing, how much carbon it is emitting, is it a pollution-free, is it a pollution-driven organization. So all the stakeholders are making a good noise and I would say raising a voice towards a better future. And it's important for us to keep all the stakeholders in mind as we do anything and anything. So yeah, I'm good with my slides. I have 2 minutes more left. If you have any questions, we can just discuss that. Any questions, any thoughts? Anybody wants to talk about what you do in your space on sustainability? If not, you can look at Diversey sustainability report. We do plenty of initiatives which can help anyone and everyone sitting over here to save on your carbon footprints. So if you please look at it, get in touch with me. I can help you to get in touch with the right person. And yeah, at the end of the day, right, who are we working for? Who are we working for when it comes to sustainability? And now I need answers. Yep. Future generation. Yes, ma'am. Future generation, sorry? Stakeholders, future generation, consumers, but sir made a very valid point, ourselves. I'm sure the average age in the room would not be more than 35, 40, right? So we would not really wait for the next generation to see the implication of what we are doing. In next 10 to 20 years, you will have a much hotter day in the summer and you won't really be able to survive that. So appeal for all of you. Again, need your phones. You can scan and be in touch with me. while I work with Diversey, and really fortunate to be part of such a sustainability-driven organization. But I'm also One Young World Ambassador, where I'm part of a lot of global communities where we focus on SDGs. So happy to connect back with you on the topic any other time. Thank you. Thank you.
Master at your art. And sir, I would request you to kindly stay back on the stage. I would also request Mr. Srinivasan N, CFO at Hevar, to join us on the stage and kindly begin with the felicitation.